knock down every door you can, even if you think the odds of that leading to something is incredibly low. Oh, I'm not going to DM that huge artist because what are the odds they see it and why would they respond to me? But then sometimes they actually do, and it can lead to huge advancements in your career. So yeah, knock down every door you can.
Annika Wells, thank you so much for jumping on with us today.
Hey there, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Can I start with a lighthearted question, a little fun one?
Yes.
I always associate granola bars with like getting outdoorsy, bringing that on a hike or something. Mm-hmm. Are you living your healthy best life right now?
Yes, I eat an inordinate amount of granola bar, so this song was actually just perfect.
I wanted to know which flavor is your favorite granola bars, because for me it's not about hiking, it's about I've got no time for breakfast, let me just grab one.
Okay, I do love an original Nature Valley bar, even though like the crumbs are always everywhere. It's like one of the most frustrating granola bars to eat. It's so good, you can't miss with an original Nature Valley. I'm also like, wait, we can't swear on here, right?
You can swear. I'll bleep you out afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm a basic for everything like pumpkin in fall, and like the pumpkin like granola bars from Trader Joe's right now are just so good. So I would say it's tied for both of those.
I love that so much.
Now, as a songwriter, every song has a story behind it. Would you mind sharing the story behind the song itself? Where does it come from? How does it come to be, etc.?
Yeah. So I'm pretty outdoorsy, and I don't always show that side of myself in my artist project. I feel like a lot of the songs I write are like breakup songs or love songs, and they don't really touch on this huge facet of my life. And my uncle actually told me, he was like, you need to start writing songs more about the outdoors and nature, like things that you love, you know, aside from other human beings. And when I sat down to write with Gnash, I was right about to leave for this road trip on with this camper van that I had just bought. And I was going solo, and it was kind of this big, like everything coming to fruition moment for me, where I'd bought this camper van, built it out, and I was finally going on my first trip. And we were like, oh, this would be such a cool thing to write a song about, but it doesn't sound quite as cool if you're just like going alone. And we're like, what if we wrote it as this like love duet? And so it's kind of a half truth, kind of like, you know, imagining a story between two people. But the feeling that the song exudes about like, you know, hitting the road and getting out there in nature and like finding the romanticism in that is really true to me.
Actually, I've always wondered this, like, what is the process of like writing a song? Like, where do you even start?
For this one, we just sat down and chatted for a while and kind of got to know each other. And I was talking about my trip, and he was talking about how much he loves to travel. And so I think through that connection between the two of us, we knew lyrically that's where we wanted to start. And musically, he had this little kalimba, which is one of those like little wooden things. That's like the sound you hear throughout the entire song right from the beginning. It's like a little wooden box kind of with these like metal tines on it. And I was kind of messing around with it as we were talking and came up with that riff. And then we both kind of stopped and were like, wait, that was actually really cool. And I don't know, everything's honestly kind of a blur when you're in that creative process. But I do know we started with that kalimba riff, and it came very naturally from there.
Yeah, it's very different than F being sober, you know, which
yes, very different.
out hit, if you will, but certainly not all there is to you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both of these songs, F being sober and granola bars, are both like, I hold them both so incredibly near and dear to my heart. And I think they're just like different facets of my personality, and kind of just show like a bit of my, like the evolution of my music over the years and kind of where it's going a bit more.
You have songwriting credits for all kinds of musicians and all kinds of different genres. The obvious question that, you know, is a little easy to ask. This is a nice softball for you, Annika, so enjoy.
Okay.
Who is the nicest to work with?
The nicest to work with? Oh my God. Okay, this one's actually hard, because I would say that like almost everyone I work with is really nice. I think there's this like preconceived notion about the music industry that a lot of people outside of it have, that like it's evil and a lot of shady stuff goes on, and like, you know, there's a lot of snakes in the grass. And I guess sometimes that can be true, but the people I've surrounded myself with are so incredibly nice. I know this was a softball question, but I don't even know if I can have an answer. Almost everyone I work with is so kind.
Well, maybe this one will be easier. You wrote a song for BTS called The Truth Untold. Did you ever get to meet any of the boys?
No, I actually didn't. That song came about in a very interesting way, where we'd written a song that was just kind of like a pitch song, not with any artist specifically in mind. And I just sat down with my friends one day and we kind of just like came out with this ballad, and it was supposed to go to like some Swedish artist and it's supposed to go to somebody else. And for like 3 or 4 years, it kind of just sat around on all of our like computers and no one ever was going to put it out. And we kind of like lost faith about that song ever being released. And then we like randomly got an email that BTS wanted to take it. I think it was like one of the dudes I wrote it with, one of their teams were in contact. And, you know, then they had very quickly cut the song and it was suddenly coming out. And so it wasn't like I went in with them and kind of like had a, you know, a more typical creative process. But it was a very pleasant surprise, I would say that.
That's almost the type of thing when you get an email saying, hey, BTS wants to do your song. Is there a split second where you don't believe that?
Like, yeah, it's because, okay, I think as a songwriter, every day you wake up hoping that you're going to get one of those emails in your inbox. And then sometimes you do, but most days you don't, you know. I might write like, you know, 200 songs a year, and maybe, you know, 10 to 15 of those will actually end up coming out either through me or through somebody else. And so the days where you get those emails where you're like, oh my God, is this actually happening? It's like, yeah, there's definitely a moment of disbelief.
Now, in contrast to Granola Bars, which obviously, like we've discussed, is an outdoorsy song, probably maybe fits best in spring or summer, or, you know, the times when you would be going outdoors and doing something like that. You also wrote a song, you co-wrote a song with the Jonas Brothers called Like It's Christmas.
Yes.
Season approaching, I would like to ask for the official Annika Wells verdict here. When does Christmas season begin?
Christmas season begins the second that you finish the last bite of Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay, I believe that. I'm with it.
Any excuse to start it as early as possible. That is my verdict.
I totally agree with that. But I was looking through all of your like videos, and you've written like quite a few different songs. One that actually was interesting was the one that you wrote called Jim and Pam.
Mm-hmm.
Basically everyone's favorite couple from The Office, right? So with Christmas season approaching, what else are you going to be watching?
Okay, actually, I've been meaning to rewatch this show Fleabag. Have you guys heard of it?
I've heard of it and I haven't seen it.
It's so good. To me, that show is like a masterpiece. And I watched it once and I kind of I haven't seen it again because it sank in so deep. And I feel like sometimes you need a little breather from art before you can reprocess it. But I can tell I'm ready to watch the show again. I think it's so incredible. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the writer and director, and she's fantastic. She's also actually directed music videos for like Harry Styles and Phoebe Bridgers. She's incredible, and that show, yeah, to me is just genius. So that's what I will be watching next.
I'd have to put that on the to-do list. We shall.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, as we get close to the end here, Annika, let's get a little bit sort of, I don't know, sappy, if you will. About
Love
6
it.
years ago, you were an intern for a company called APG. Now you are a contracted songwriter for APG. So dreams really do come true. First things first.
Yes.
Very quickly. Congratulations. Second things second. And third things third, what kind of advice would you have for a beginning songwriter who wants to maybe follow in a similar set of footsteps?
I have 2 pieces of advice. One is believe in yourself harder than anybody else will. You really have to like be the biggest fan of yourself. And second would be to like knock down every door you can, even if you think the odds of that leading to something is incredibly low. Because I feel like the way that I've like had the most success in my career is by doing those little things that maybe somebody else like might not think to do because it seems like it won't come to fruition, or like, oh, I'm not going to DM that huge artist because what are the odds they see it and why would they respond to me? But then sometimes they actually do, and it can lead to huge advancements in your career. So yeah, knock down every door you can.
That's actually really, really good advice. I think we can also take that advice. Not just for songwriters.
All right, so what we have here, let's do a little past, present, future. You have an incredible career so far, leading up to this moment right here in time where you are a successful, self-sustaining songwriter telling her stories authentically in new and creative ways. That's where we find Granola Bars. What comes next for you?
I think the Granola Bars is kind of like a little sneak peek into some stuff I have coming up. I mean, the song is definitely very wholesome and also kind of relates, like I said, to my connection with nature. And so the songs I have on my upcoming EP that I'm putting out, which is called Eat Dirt, are kind of a connection between like F being sober and Granola Bars, which is like one very not wholesome song with like a lot of dark humor in it, and a very wholesome song that talks about, you know, connection to the earth. It is very sappy. And I think the songs I have coming out are kind of a perfect combination of that, because that is me. I have a really messed up sense of humor, and I love, you know, putting myself out there and doing wild things. And I also really love like taking road trips and doing cute little sassy things. So yeah, my upcoming project is, I think it feels like the most truly authentic and like all encompassing to my personality and my outlook on the world.
Very wholesome.
With that, like, are we getting a little Taylor Swift Easter egg moment with your avocado earrings? Is that?
Yeah, I have a song called Avocados. No, I just like, I've been wearing like food jewelry recently, and it's not like necessarily attractive, but I really get a kick out of it. And like, I have this necklace that's like, looks like a real chicken nugget. And I don't know, I've been really like vibing on the food jewelry recently.
As we connect to sort of your roots, to what you're really all about deep down inside, I think that's going to be pretty exciting. So thanks for giving us a little preview.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really love talking to you guys.